Hello, QLR 1000 Data Foundation students. Hope you're doing well. Thought I would record a quick video of the new ChatGPT Data Analyst. So let me quick share my screen here and we'll get started. So ChatGPT, I know some of you have approached me and said, well, I've tried to use it for this class, for some data analysis, for some charting, and I've had some challenges. So I asked ChatGPT itself, what's the difference? So I paid for the subscription for ChatGPT, the $20 a month. And with that, it gives me access to the data analyst. With that said, if you recall, I said in class, this is probably the worst AI you will ever use. What do I mean by that? AI is constantly evolving. It's a moving target. Every week there seems to be something new, and maybe data analysts will be free by the time you watch this video. But with the data analyst, if you use that, it does some pretty cool things. It'll do some file handling, so different data types, load your data, clean it, automatically fix things in it. It has some advanced analysis and visualizations, some interactive data displays, and it'll give you some deeper insights and explanations. As you know, I've been saying over and over and again that first you have to get the data, obtain it, clean it. Second step is to analyze the data. A big part of this course has been visualizing the data. And then finally, probably the most important step is what is the story? Tell the story of the data, right? Some things that ChatGPT standard does not handle well, again, is the file handling. Uh, Charts and visualizations may be harder to generate, less automated processing. You may have to do some of the cleaning before you upload it, and some limited exploratory analysis. So if you want fast, accurate, and insightful in storytelling, use Data Analyst. If you're using the standard without file upload or code execution capabilities, the results may be more limited. One thing I did want to show you is for your final assignment, if you're struggling to find a data set or come up with something, you can actually go to this Kaggle website. I'll show you that real quick in a minute. And I do have two videos that go into a little bit more depth than my quick overview that I'm doing right now. And so one of them, I found this one particularly useful, ChatGPT data analysis for beginners.
Follow along with well, I don't have any data sets. Well, that's where you can go to this free data set website called Kaggle. Now, Kaggle is this website where you can explore different data sets and you can just download them to your computer.
So you can give that a try. And then this guy, I found this particularly interesting. He poses the question, is Excel dead? I don't think so quite yet, but it certainly begs the question how much more powerful these data analyst tools will become, and you will rely less on Excel by the time you find your career.
Lots of data. Of course, I could insert a pivot table,
A pivot table.
formulas and functions to try to make sense of it all. That is, if you even know how to use them. Or you can simply hire your very own AI data analyst.
Yeah, so let's get into it. So those are two videos that you can watch to get a little more in-depth information. And so if I go into ChatGPT here and scroll up, you do have these Explore GPTs over here on your left. And if you go into some of these, I found a new one I had not seen before. It's not by ChatGPT. It says AI Web Tools, but Data Analysis and Report AI. So I'm definitely going to check this one out and perhaps record a future video. But if you do scroll up to the ones that ChatGPT provides, we've got your DALL-E and Data Analyst. I know many of you have had some fun creating some images using DALL-E. So once you jump into Data Analyst, I did upload 3 files. I said I want you to help me visualize and analyze these for these college students in my class. It did go in, upload the tables, did a short assessment of it, and said, "Hey, where do you want to drive now? What do you want me to do? Compare data across files." It's very powerful too. I know this isn't a relational database class, but with that said, if you have, say, categorical data in one table and your survey data in another, it's smart enough to actually look at both files and merge them and work with both files to do some analysis. So with that said, if you recall, way back in the day, we were doing box whisker charts. I think was that way back in week 6. And box whisker, a very powerful chart, gives you a ton of information with a couple clicks of the mouse, mean, medians, outliers. And we had this neighborhood sales data. and we looked at the differences with the values. Well, it's, I could go into Excel and do that quite easily. Go in, insert my chart, get a box whisker, play around with it. But I wanted to see if this data analyst could do a slightly better job. And it did create the chart for me. And as I went and looked a little more, I said, hey, it's kind of boring. Can you add some color? And it went ahead and did that. And then if you recall, the second of three examples here, we did look at actual aerial life tables from the Social Security Administration. Jacob suggested this file, and I was able to scrape this data off here, get it into Excel, and upload it to ChatGPT Data Analyst. And it did some neat stuff for me. At first, I had some errors. Even though I had data from age 60 to 100, it gave me some weird results. And I did not get discouraged. I went back to my Excel file, saved it as a comma separated file, a CSV file, and it reloaded it. And it actually gave me some pretty good charts. One thing I noticed was the spike from age 0 to 1, and I wanted to explore that a little more. One thing for a live demo is data analyst does take a little more time to process. It'll sit here and say, processing, analyzing. And so what I did is I just did some screenshots and put it into Word to speed this thing along. And sorry if I'm making you dizzy. So I asked, why is there a spike? What's going on here? And it gave me some pretty good reasons for early infant deaths. And, a key takeaway, would you like to explore historical trends? Yes. Let's dive in a little deeper into this story. And so, hey, look at, the improvement that we've done in healthcare since 1900 to the year 2020. So definitely it would help to tell the story of your data for your final projects to use AI. Finally, the histogram. Hopefully you like and appreciate the ranges that we selected, not too detailed, not too general. So the last one I did that I had a lot of fun with, if you recall, I'm a big fan of Dave Portnoy's One Bite Pizza Rules, the owner of Barstool Sports. And I've often in class said, hey, how was my lecture on the Dave Portnoy scale, right? And I've got tells, like if it's a little greasy, doesn't have a good undercarriage, too much flop, I've been able to get within a point or two of what his score is going to be. So I thought that would be fun to upload that to ChatGPT and see what I could get. And initially, it did a quick assessment of my data. Great, go ahead and upload the data set. It gave me some scores by state. A little bit of here's what I can help you analyze now, right? You want to look at the highest scores. Well, I did something that I thought was really cool. So just average by state, that's all right. But if you've noticed, if you watch his ratings, if it's coal-fired brick oven, he loves the firm crispness, and he usually gives a much higher score, right? So it would have taken me for thousands of rows of data quite a long time. I might have been able to automate it with a script or an if-then statement to just pull out restaurant names that have coal-fired or brick oven and separate my data into two different data sets. Well, with a couple just asking ChatGPT data analysts to do it, it did it. It provided it for me. I did not have to do that work. And this really tells a story. So if it has brick oven and fired or coal, very tight scores up near the top and some outliers where he really loved that pizza. All other restaurants, much bigger distribution, although the mean and median seem about the same. One outlier, 10, wonder where that was, and many outliers to the negative where he just really did not appreciate their pizza. No negative outliers for coal, fired, or brick oven. And so lastly, I thought, well, let's make some graphs, let's make some charts. And I wanted a heat map. And what's interesting is even with the data analyst, it wasn't scaling the colors from lower hue all the way up to a darker. It took me 3 tries. I kept going back and forth, but I was persistent, and it finally gave me a heat map that I was happy with the highest average score by state being darker red. So, and I'll end on this. I thought it was interesting. I try to be polite to my ChatGPT, so it's helpful. And it said, "You're welcome," with some emojis. I had a blast analyzing pizza data with you. Feel free to reach out and wish me luck for my data foundations class. And you are lucky, it said, to have such a fun and engaging approach to learning. Pretty cool. So until next time, I appreciate